What it is, YouTube, is your boy Nitzy coming back with another bullseye of a tutorial here today on the channel. I wanted to show y'all how to craft those dope, modern, mainstream ad-libs that remind us of Don Toliver, Travis Scott, those epic moments that ad-libs can create. So let's go over this today. If you guys do like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and drop more suggestions down below. So the plugin that I want to talk about here today, the holy grail, is RC-20. Now I know RC-20, the first time I ever seen this plugin was so many years ago, and like, trying to make beats. This is a plugin that a lot of beat makers love to use, but this is also a dope plugin that you can use to craft ad-libs. So that's what I'm trying to show you today, how to get those mainstream ad-libs, you feel me? Ad-libs are very important because the whole song is kind of like the rice, the beans, the chicken, and the meat, but the ad-libs is kind of like that sweet piece of candy. It's kind of like that sweet chocolate brownie that's tasting good in your mouth. Those ad-libs are a very important part to give that sweetness, that little bit of candy to the ears of the listener, that little treat, that little reward every once in a while. So let's look at this track that I'm working on here today. This is part of an R&B course that will be out very soon, and I will drop the link down below when it is ready, full stem processing and all that stuff like that. But we just looking at the ad-libs today, RC-20. So let's look at what sounds we was getting.
Had a drawback for a bit. Loyalty won't let me admit. Loving you was bad for me. A leg of my selfish needs. If you got cut, I bleed. Loyalty won't let me admit. Loving you was bad for me. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Loving you was bad for me. I think we're gonna be okay. I just need to go my way. Then maybe someday.
Okay, so you guys get the idea of what we're looking at here today. So let's break down this plugin RC-20 and what is in it. So I like how, back in the days, usually when people was using analog, they had it was like a all you can eat, all in one Big Mac meal. You feel me? Just by using the tape, they was getting some automatic saturation, some automatic compression, some automatic clipping, and all that type of stuff like that. That's the natural properties of tape. Now we have something like RC-20 that allows us to, individualize those components. Even tape machines used to have, transformers and tubes and stuff like that, and depending how hot they were hitting the signal, in addition to the tape being, saturated and stuff like that, also that tube was getting hit upside the head. Boom. That transformer, boom, it was getting hit upside the head a little bit too, and that was imparting a certain tone on certain distorted rock guitars and etc, etc. Okay, so you see the RC-20. Okay, we have the noise, which you get all different types of vinyl noise, tape noise, all that stuff like that I like to use. I like to automate this sometimes too on a beat. Maybe if I have like a quiet part of like where a rapper is not rapping or something like that, I like to automate just a little bit of that noise, a little bit of that crackle to make it feel like throwback, like we back in the good old days. You have the wobble, which is like the wow and flutter. So those are the little boing, detuning type of out of bounce type of sounds. You feel me? Out of bounce, like out of the scale of the music and everything like that. It starts to become a little detuned, a little bit of kind of odd sounds, and after that you have the distortion, which gives you tube distortion, transformer distortion, a little bit of bit crushing type of style distortion, you feel me? Some digital and analog distortion, which is dope. Then you have this right here, which is the actual genuine bit crusher, which lets you change like the depth rate and all that stuff like that, which is really dope. And you can parallel that bit crusher. Then you got a little bit of the space plugin, which is just like a reverb or whatever. And then after that, you have the magnetic thing, which, this kind of models the dropouts, the wear and tear of tape. Sometimes the bit will be like, man, this song sound good. Boom, they put the tape on the shelf. Boom, they come back 3 months later, the song sounds slightly different, especially in the high end, you feel me? So that's one of the things to know about that dope type of thing. So this is really dope to craft ad-libs. So let's see how we was crafting the ad-libs in the kitchen with the right wrist on this song. So what I like to do too, especially like on Pro Tools, is I like to duplicate my ad-libs, right? And I like to have like a parallel reverb, type of situation. So rather than using the aux to have the reverb, I like to just have an audio track and put the reverb 100% and blend that with my fader. So I was using a little bit of auto tune, a little bit of low shelf on this. This is like a reverb to support this main ad-lib right here.
Loyalty won't let me admit. Loyalty won't let me admit. Loving you. Loyalty won't let me. Loyalty won't let me admit. Loving you was that for me. I let go of my selfish needs. If you got cut, I bleed. Loyalty, selfish needs. If you got selfish needs. If you got cut, I bleed. Loyalty won't let me in.
All right, so most importantly, after that, we use the lo-fi, and this is like a trick I do all the time, bro, on my ad-libs, bro. I might roll off with an EQ, but then I'll use the lo-fi or whatever type of other lo-fi plugins. There's so many of them to degrade the high end. So rather than to use a filter to take off high end, I use saturation or, you know, whatever lo-fi to take off the high end, and I reduce the sample rate, right? So I did that over here.
Selfish needs.
And understand, this is a reverb. This is like a reverb on this audio track. This is a reverb that we got going, that we got working. So after that, we used the Valhalla plate, which is so dope, bro. I love using this preset. And to be in the void. And, you know, we had the reverb size on 5, the width is being as wide as it can, especially because the ad-libs are tucked in tight, and it gave that Don Toliver type of feeling, you feel me? It felt a little bit atmospheric. It felt like we was in a mountainous, cavernous type of region. I was getting a dark vibe, you know?
Selfish needs. If you got cut, I bleed. Loyalty won't.
And also with ad-libs, I feel for reverb, you want to have like a very, very short pre-delay. You know, you kind of want that as soon as that ad-lib comes in, that reverb instantly. So even if you put it on the aux, remember, usually with shorter transient material, if it's like snares or whatever type of quick percussion on a you know, African type of beat, try to use no pre-delay, because you kind of want that reverb to keep up with that transient, because ad-libs are very transient material, you feel me? Very short and abrupt. All right, so after that, then we had the RC-20, and this kind of reminds me of Don Toliver, you feel me? This type of reverb style where we had a little bit of noise in there, then we had a little bit of wobble, and most importantly, a little bit of distortion. So it gives a little bit more depth and character to the reverb rather than having like a regular reverb. Now we're bringing a little bit of texture. We're making the reverb feel like a tornado, you feel me? There's pieces, you know, inside of a tornado, there's pieces of twigs and sticks and trees and rocks and cars and metal and all that type of shit that the tornado done picked up, you feel me? So that's what we're trying to get out of our reverb, more than just the actual size and dimension, but also some of the character, some of the things within between it, the materials, you feel me?
Selfish needs. If you got cut, I 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 bleed. Loyalty won't let go. One day, I find my way back to you. Maybe one day, one day, I find my way back. Maybe one day. I think we're gonna be okay. I just need to go my way.
So especially with the distortion, we're using this to give the reverb a little bit of more shimmer. So sometimes you can actually make your vocals feel a little bit brighter by adding a little bit of distortion. You know, I call this the Tory Lanez Harry Ch-Ch-Ch-Chia technique, where it's like you're using a little bit of distortion to give the reverb a little bit of frill. You feel me? Rather than to have it be smooth, you're giving a little bit of frill, a little bit of breakup. You feel me? Type of situation. And with the noise, usually I like to put like a gate behind it, or, you know, sometimes I might just commit the whole plugin throughout the whole way, so then I can control the noise, because I don't like the noise to be playing when the guy is rapping. I just like it to be on certain select parts. So sometimes I might like bounce it out, render it, and then like cut the space in between. So only when the reverb is working or whatever, the one shot effect is working, then I have the noise. And then this last ad-lib that I have right here, this was like a distorted ad-lib. So, you know, another trick I like to use on my ad-libs is using a different auto-tune from the lead vocal. So I had the regular auto-tune advanced, but here on this ad-lib, I was using auto-tune access, right? So that in itself is kind of tuning it a little bit differently. And then we're using a little bit of fab filter on this like distorted ad-lib.
Through loyalty won't let me admit. You got cut, I bleed. Loyalty won't. You got cut, I bleed. Loyalty won't let me admit.
And then after that, we're using a little bit of the RC-20 again, a little bit of noise. Then we used a little bit of that bit crusher, I think it was right here, or degrading the sample rate, something along the lines of that. So there's two different types of distortion: analog distortion, which you will usually get from like tubes, whatever tape components, and you got the regular digital distortion, or the digital type of artifacts, the clicks and pops, the nasty stuff, right? So you know, the people say it's kind of sounds sterile, But in a situation like this, I like to see it as in like I'm a chef mixing up different flavors, where digital artifacts is kind of like the basic salt and pepper, versus where all the analog stuff is a little bit, maybe a little bit more exotic flavor. You feel me? Like a Himalayan pink salt. You know, they're both all seasonings, but one has a more exotic flavor over the regular type of salt. So we're using that over here on these distorted ad-libs. And then after that, we use the we used a little bit of capital chambers reverb. I like to use a chamber reverb because it adds clarity. You feel me? Chamber reverbs are a little bit more reflective. You feel me? So they have a way of emphasizing the high end. And then after that, we use a little bit of distortion from Devil Lock, a little bit of lo-fi, and let's kind of see what was going on right here too, because we had the tape here, right? So I'm also, in addition to that, I'm saturating with toupe, using a little bit of tube and a little bit of tape.
You got cut, I bleed. Loyalty won't. You got cut, I bleed. Loyalty won't. You got cut, I bleed. Loyalty won't. You got cut, I bleed. Loyalty. You got cut, I bleed. Loyalty won't. You got cut, I bleed. Loyalty won't. You got cut, I bleed. Loyalty. 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 You got cut, I bleed. Loyalty won't let me in.
So, you know, in the very beginning, using all that distortion, it made the ad-libs very harsh. So that's what I want. That harshness is a quality, and it's a byproduct of the distortion, that jagged edges, that feeling. You feel like there's a little bit of a toothpick or a little bit of pointing on your ribs, you feel me? So it gives it a little bit of that pepper, a little bit of those bell peppers, you feel me? Right? But most importantly, thing about it is when I kind of got it distorted, I started naturally rolling off the high end using the tape and also a little bit of that Avid lo-fi and just a tad bit of filter. I'm not dependent on the filter to make it dark, right? But if I didn't roll off the high end in different ways, it would just be very brittle and harsh, right? So this is the way I like to use RC-20, bro. I like to show y'all a different way because I know a lot of beat makers like to use RC-20 on their beats or whatever, but I just want to show a different way of using that on one shot effect ad-libs. So, you know, here to spice up the reverb, get that Don Toliver, Travis Scott reverb, you feel me, to also spice up the ad-libs, get some of that distortion, but in a very musical way. So this is pretty much the end of the video here today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check the links down below to support the channel. And I just want to say I appreciate y'all now, YouTube gang. Peace.